They were tired, exhausted in fact. Life in New York was a storm. Work deadlines, endless subway rides, horns blaring, neon lights stabbing through their windows at night. They hadn't had a single moment of quiet in months. Daniel, Clara, Josh, and Elena, 4 friends bound by fatigue, sat in their small cafe corner one evening. Each of them burnt out from routine, yearning for stillness, for a weekend where the world could not reach them. Josh leaned forward with a grin. "I know a place, a farmhouse, out near Hollow Creek. Beautiful, empty, belongs to a friend of mine who moved out to California. Pool, fields, fresh air. We can stay there." The others laughed, suspicious, until Josh pulled out his phone. The pictures were undeniable. A massive white farmhouse, wraparound porches, tall windows reflecting wide skies. It looked like something pulled from a dream. "And the best part," Josh added, "the only one who lives there is an old housekeeper. But he leaves every weekend to be with his family. Friday night to Monday morning, the whole estate is ours." The thought filled them with a strange energy, an escape, away from the noise, the pressure, the exhaustion of city life. By Friday afternoon, they packed, left their apartments behind, and drove north. The streets of Manhattan gave way to highways, and then highways to back roads. The skyline faded, the forest grew thicker, and the road seemed darker than the time on the clock. They wanted calmness, but what waited at Hollow Creek Farmhouse was not calmness at all. It was hunger, a silence too deep, and something watching long before they arrived. The farmhouse came into view just before midnight. Moonlight brushed the paint pale silver, and the porch light flickered like a tired candle. The 4 of them parked, laughing nervously, the air cooler here, colder than expected. Mr. Harris, the housekeeper, waited on the porch, thin, weathered. His gray hair slicked neatly back, his face looked kind, but his eyes had something unsettled in them. He gave them the keys, but not without words that carried the weight of warning. "Don't leave the house at night," he said firmly. "Don't swim in the pool after dark. The water isn't safe. Stay on the ground floor, close to each other, and no matter what you hear, don't follow voices." The 4 friends shared glances, half smiles, half disbelief. Rules like children's ghost stories. They nodded anyway. Mr. Harris walked toward the small apartment near the main road. They saw him step inside, gather his small suitcase, and leave quietly for his family home. His car headlights cutting the silence as he disappeared into the trees. The farmhouse was theirs now. At least, that's what they believed. Inside, the air was heavy. Even with all the lights on, shadows clung to the corners like dampness. It was cold, unnaturally cold, though no windows were open. A silence pressed at their ears, as though the walls were holding their breath. The house was clean, polished, smelling faintly of cedar. But the mirrors, that was the first thing they noticed. Every mirror was covered with white cloth, perfectly tucked, as though someone had taken deliberate care. When Elena lifted one edge, she whispered, "These mirrors, they look old, ancient, like artifacts brought back to life, but repainted on the edges." And then she shivered, because in the corner of that mirror, she thought she saw movement, not hers, not theirs. Something pale, moving just behind her shoulder. Her voice broke as she muttered, "My grandmother once told me, mirrors are portals. Portals for the dark." The others laughed it off, but their laughter sounded hollow in that house. Too hollow. as if something else was listening. They wandered out to the pool at midnight. The moon glared off the black water. It looked inviting, tempting, a dare against Harris's warning. They splashed in, laughing. The water was icy, heavy, strange. Daniel dove beneath, and when he surfaced, he gasped, "Something grabbed me!" They teased him until Clara screamed. A face surfaced in the ripples, bloated, gray-blue skin, swollen eyes shut, mouth pouring water. Then, a smell spread, indescribable, rancid. The light above the pool snapped off. Darkness swallowed them. They tried to climb out, but their bodies grew heavier, heavier still. Legs trembling, arms weak, lungs straining. It was as if the water itself wanted them. For 15 endless minutes they struggled, prayed, begged aloud for help. And then, as suddenly as it began, they were able to climb out, collapsing on the wet grass, trembling. The pool lay still behind them, as though nothing had ever happened. They ran for the house, feet pounding against the porch steps. Behind them, screams and the vicious barking of dogs near the pool. Yet when they turned, there was nothing. Inside, soaked and shivering, they pressed together in the bedroom corner, too frightened to change clothes, huddled like children. Then, a voice, software female, calling Daniel's name. He froze. His sister's voice, the sister who had died 3 years ago. "Danny, it's me. Come outside." He almost believed it. He almost stepped out. Elena seized his arm, whispering Harris's warning. "Don't follow voices." They listened. They obeyed. For now. But curiosity burned inside them. Because human nature is cruel. When told not to touch the flame, we always reach out. And they were no different. By 2 a.m., curiosity won. They climbed the stairs. The second floor looked untouched, yet smelled of rot. And despite the lamps glowing bright, the light seemed strangled, blocked by something in the air. The glow hung above, but never touched the ground. Everything was clean, except the floor and walls. Muddy streaks, small, bare footprints, only 4 toes, smearing across the hallway like children had run wild in the dark. Furniture draped in sheets, yet wet stains seeped through the cloth. And when Josh opened a closet, inside were children's shoes, tiny, still soaked, still dripping. Elena gagged. The others pulled her back, but the air grew thicker as if something unseen filled the space between them. In the master bedroom stood a tall mirror, uncovered. Elena remembered Harris once mentioning the owner had bought them from an auction, antique, old, from some forgotten estate in the woods. She looked first. Her reflection blinked late. Josh's reflection smiled before he did, its teeth black and broken. The cloth fell over the mirror by itself. The glass cracked, and then a humming sound filled the room. Deep, hollow, endless. Smoke rolled from the corner, thick and dull, as if something enormous was arriving. They felt it. Something was there, huge, angry. They screamed and ran, bolting down to the ground floor, locking themselves into the nearest room, praying it wouldn't follow. At 3:13 a.m., a knock. Not from the front, not from the back, from the basement door. 3 knocks. Silence. Josh whispered, "No one told us about a basement." Clara, trembling, tried to reason. Maybe Harris is here. Maybe he didn't leave after all. Maybe he's downstairs to keep us safe. They clung to that lie, because the truth felt unbearable. They mistook it. They did what they should not have done. They opened the door. The stench hit like a fist. Mildew, damp soil, and something rotten. The flashlight beam trembled against the dirt walls, names scratched into stone, dozens, hundreds, each marked with dates, the last only a month ago. And beneath it, 4 empty spaces, waiting for them. They bolted outside, desperate for air. But it was wrong. The dark had lured them. It had illusioned them toward the pool. And there she stood. A woman, skin bloated, hair slick with water. Her gown clung heavy to her swollen body. She reached toward them, her arms bending backward, mouth opening wide. Water poured from it, flooding the grass. And then a scream. So loud, it tore the silence apart. A wind cut through them, so cold, their bones ached. They stumbled back, too terrified to breathe. Clara stumbled back, screaming. Her foot slipped. She fell into the pool. The water erupted. Hands, too many hands, rose from beneath, dragging her down. Her scream bubbled. They pulled her out, coughing, shaking. But her ankle was purple, as if something had gripped it. Hard. From the cornfield came voices, hundreds, calling names: Daniel, Clara, Josh, Elena, sweet, soft, like relatives, friends, lovers. The sound drew them toward the porch steps. They covered their ears, but the voices grew inside their heads, some begging, some laughing, some whispering promises of release. In their panic, they called the owner, Josh's friend in California, voices broken, begging him to send someone. Within an hour, Harris returned. They demanded answers. Harris's eyes were filled with sorrow. "I told you," he said, "don't swim, don't follow voices, don't touch the mirrors. But you laughed. You never asked me why. You never wanted to know." And then he told them. The pool. It had taken the family who built the house, all drowned in one night. The water never stilled after that. But the house. The house became worse 3 years ago, when the owner bought mirrors from an auction. Old, from the 1870s, found in a ruined building in the woods. "Since those mirrors came here," Harris whispered, "this place has been poisoned. Dark energy lives inside them. That's why I never sleep in this house. That's why I stay in the servants' quarters." The friends trembled. The farmhouse no longer felt like a house. It felt alive, and it hated them. They packed before noon, silent, shaken. As they pulled onto the main road, Elena looked back. On the porch stood the waterlogged woman, dripping, her head tilted, one hand raised in a mock wave, and beside her, in the upstairs window, 4 children, barefoot, staring. They left before noon, drove back to New York, silent, but the horror didn't stay behind. In their apartments, each of them felt it, the presence, a child's giggle in empty rooms, footsteps following them home, a shadow drifting at the corner of their eyes, and on their floors, muddy prints, small, bare, 4 toes only. Every time they came home, the same marks waited. The farmhouse had followed them, and the darkness was not finished.